content catch-up.
On to one NFL to another NFL because
Jesus Christ, you've watched NFL.
well, I didn't actually watch it. I wanted to see what it was sort of a similar thought process. I'm like, all right, what's an easy way to sort of see what the NFL are doing? Season launch, first games for a lot of teams. So I wanted to see what the teams are doing in terms of basic practices of game day. So like how they use their IG story, Twitter, but the IG story is what I want to focus on. Because I saw it from the Steelers, Pittsburgh Steelers. Got that right?
Pittsburgh.
I'll share my screen as well because basically nothing too inventive, but how do I relate it to what we do? It's essentially our opposition report opposition report, just to state the obvious, is a report on the opposition, Jules. Isn't that right?
I think the name gives it away.
So obviously most teams will do something similar, but they do something called blow the whistle. And instead of the normal posting on the website that probably all AFL teams do and probably a lot of other sports do, it's literally just an IG story segment. So there's about five or six. Well, actually, no, it's limited to 60 seconds. So there's 4 IG stories in a row. It's got a host on it, and it's basically their opposition report. So I'll share my screen and we can watch it. It's nothing.
Yeah, cool.
It's nothing thrilling in terms of actually watching it, but I think it creates a bit of a conversation about how everyone sort of typically uses the basic stuff like Instagram stories on game day.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I screen recorded it actually because came prepared.
Oh.
What's this? What's it doing?
Your desktop's very clean.
I hate people that have. I don't hate them. I just hate. What the hell is this shit?
Your tag. Just click out of that.
All right. Can you?
Yeah, I can see.
I'm Arthur Motes, and this is At the Whistle. Now, this Denver Broncos team is coming into town after a heartbreaking loss on Monday night under second-year head coach Vic Fangio. But when the Steelers are on defense, the matchup we all need to be having eyes on is Devin Bush against second-year tight end Noah Fant. Now, Noah is a former first-round draft pick, and they love to feature him in their passing attack. But watching Devin Bush on Monday night and how he excelled in coverage in his open field tackling, if he can continue that come Sunday, it'll be a great day for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Now, when the Steelers are on offense, the matchup we're all going to have to pay close attention to is the Steelers' offensive line, minimizing the impact of both Bradley Chubb and Jarrell Casey in both the pass and running game. Both of those guys in Jarrell Casey and Bradley Chubb have been very productive throughout their careers in both of those phases. But if the O-line can protect and ultimately minimize those guys' role, man, it'll be a great day for that Steelers offense. But, that's the whistle. Sunday, Heinz Field. Make sure you're tuning in. You do not want to miss this matchup. And as always, here we go, Steelers.
Is that not? I know the host is a massive part of that, but is that not?
Yeah.
Is that not 10 times more appealing than a longer form website video on the opposition?
I think that's great. It's very engaging. You're right. That's probably the host, but the format as well. Like you can see how much is left.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting there watching it, sorry, you go.
No, go on. I was just going to say it's quick. Like it's not, when you think you want to run down the opposition, that's what you want. You want to run down. You don't want a 5-minute sort of piece on analyzing each matchup. Like I'm sure some people might, but I know me personally, I'm 10 times more likely to watch that and really get amped up for a game than a website video.
Yeah. And two things you said there, like number one, you're more likely to watch it because it's right in front of you. You're not often sitting with your laptop while you're watching a game. You've got your phone or something else, and you're tapping through to see what the stories are or what the tweets are on your phone. That's one part of it. Like you're putting it in front of them rather than having to send them somewhere else. But the second part of it is like, I'm keen to get your thoughts on this, but are we shifting away from an audience that really loves the heavy analytical stuff? And are we shifting more towards an audience that likes analytics or like an insight, but loves to be entertained more?
I think it's probably, I don't know if you agree, but it's probably dependent on the platform. Like Instagram story, you want to be engaged and you don't have that attention span of sitting there for ages. especially on game day. I don't know if this is posted on game day or it might even be before the game, which I sort of like even more.
Yeah, was that from this morning?
No, that was last week. I don't even know when they played.
Yeah. They played on Friday. So yeah, that might have been just before the game or the night before the game. But that's all irrelevant. That was, I think like you're right. If we're on Instagram, we're talking to an audience of like maybe 18 to 35-year-olds or slightly younger and slightly older in that bracket who don't spend a lot of time on our website anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the other point is it's how to differently utilize the Instagram story. Like I know personally, sort of a pet hate for me is phone footage. Like I know there's always a need for it, but there's part of me that sees it that's just like anyone can do that. I know that's part of what we all do as sport teams, but I love and actually saw a lot in NFL. There's not I don't think I saw one standard phone footage of just sort of following players around, but then I sort of realized afterwards that might be because they're not allowed to be that close right now. So I don't know if that's what they normally do, but yeah, like are we too predictable in what we do with Instagram stories?
I think so. It's hard though because you talk about trying to revolutionize something that like when you're in the moment, you just see stuff and you're like, oh, let's do that. I agree. Like clean shots would make a whole bunch of difference, but timeliness is also extremely important. And for maybe it's like, we need to get better at, this is getting like real specific and maybe we need to cut this, but maybe it's like it's a technology thing as well. Like maybe we need to find easier ways to, so for example, you shoot something really slick on your camera. What's the easiest way to get it over to a phone where it can quickly be cut up and shot off? Like I think right now the process is a bit clunky.
Yeah, I think you can work a way around it though, because realistically, say, okay, typical phone footage of a player A warming up. You're not going to know as a fan if you saw that within 30 seconds or straight from your phone, or if I sat there with a real camera, waited 5 minutes, put it up on the laptop, airdropped it to your phone to upload. You're not going to know that that's 5 minutes later.
Nah. You're so right.
So thank you. I usually no. I think there's ways around it is what I'm trying to say. I think there's obviously like the team running out. You're going to know if that's late. But otherwise, I think there's a bit that you can sort of, have the longer process to have a proper photo or a proper video.
I've got to say, within the AFL, using that as a specific example, I think we're seeing less and less of actual mobile phone footage. You're noticing on game days more and more social producers walking around with cameras and the presence of video cameras, and the quality has gone up. I think it's turning that page. You've got to remember, like, NFL as well, they have so many people at the game that are doing that stuff. Probably more than just one rep from the club. Like they'd have 3 or 4 people at different points, and the access they get is different as well, and the expectation is higher. But I agree. I think like polished Instagram stories are a huge attractive point of difference.
Yeah, I was also thinking with this example, imagine if you had like a great host. So this similar to that guy who did it, because obviously he sort of makes it. But imagine if you could do that at halftime. Imagine if
quickly go through the game.
And give him 60 seconds. I think it'd be better, and in a perfect world there'd be no script, but give him 60 seconds. We're giving you 4 IG stories to give us your analysis and make it fun and just film.
Hey man, put that one in the ideas bank, because I don't think there's any reason you couldn't do it.
All right, cut. We don't want anyone stealing it.
No one take that one.
So 2 NFL examples. I think that's good from us.
No, I think that was. I like it. I like that you're actually watching something that's not basketball.
Sounds like a bit of a personal dig. Fair enough to play on.